Hey guys, what is going on? In this video, we're talking about how to vlog, the complete basics.
Okay, so today's video is...
What's up, my besties?
Hey Siri, how do I start a vlog?
How should I know, dumbass?
Alright, let's get it out there. Let's get it done straight away. Let's not leave it unsaid. I clearly have no idea what I'm doing right now. Precisely zero. I've watched about 3,427 YouTube videos in the last 24 hours on how to start a vlog, and I still have absolutely no idea how to kick it off. And in fact, before we even do that, let's not even call it a vlog. I hate that. It's like a millennial and hipster type thing. So let's just call it a journal or a diary. I don't care what. Right. Well, firstly, before I go on, I suppose I should probably introduce myself. My name's Scott. I live in Sydney, Australia, and in a week's time, I'm flying out to the US and Canada to to ride some of the world's best mountain bike destinations. The idea for this journal came about because of, well, three reasons really. The first one was my buddies. So when it came time to committing the trip and getting people involved and all that sort of thing, it was like crickets and tumbleweeds. No matter who I begged, pled with, tried to bribe, I couldn't get any of my buddies to come along for the trip, so I'm going on my own. Maybe I stink, I don't know. But I've travelled plenty on my own. It's not the first time, I enjoy it. But this is the sort of trip that would be pretty fun to have a few mates along, so unfortunately they couldn't come. So then the idea occurred to me, well, maybe I can make a little video or two here and there to kind of taunt the living piss out of them for being a bunch of pansies and not coming along. So while they're all at work, I'm getting dropped on the top of a mountain in a helicopter and riding down. Sucked in, boys, you should have come along. So that was the first reason. The second reason is mum and dad, family and friends, that type of thing. You know, it's just a different way of keeping everyone in the loop as to what I'm doing. I'm not on Facebook, Instagram or any of that bullshit, so this is kind of just a fun way of keeping everyone in the loop rather than making a million phone calls or anything like that. As I say, a picture tells 1,000 words. And the other good thing is it lets mum know that I haven't been eaten by a bear, killed by teenage psychos or driven a car off a cliff. Always good. Third reason, and it's probably a bit of a stretch, but you know, you never know. Maybe by doing this, I can help somebody else out that's travelled or wants to travel with a bike that hasn't done it before. So maybe I can leave some little tips and stuff in there just for helping people out. I've done it a little bit myself. I've got a bit of an idea of what I'm doing. So you never know. So that's the three reasons. So over the next 5 weeks, what I want to kind of do is bring you guys along for the ride. You know, so we'll, no pun intended there. The idea is I want to get you involved with what I'm doing. As I say, bring you on the journey. So we'll start with the packing and how I pack all my stuff. And yes, it's very nerdy and OCD, and all of my friends are nodding their head right now. But I have an Excel spreadsheet, and it's all currently in red. And then when I move something into the bag, it's all packed nice and neat. It goes green, and then by the time I go, everything, I can just have a quick look. Everything's green, and I'm good to go. I haven't forgotten something. Very nerdy, but I'm okay with it. And then we'll go to things like what I'm taking, including the bike. I want to take you guys out in a minute and look at the bike that I'm taking so that you got an idea of, you know, why I'm taking it and that sort of thing. So that's the plan. Really what I'm hoping out of this is that I can make something worth watching for more than just my buddies and my mum. Hopefully she's not just sitting there clicking the like button so I feel better. I don't really care about that, but, you know, one of those things. So hopefully it's not just mum out there, and I can make it interesting for, you know, people that ride bikes, people that travel, and just everything in between. Hopefully I can make something that's, well, not too painful to watch, which it may be, but this will help with that. So that's really kind of it. What I want to do now is take you guys outside. We'll go and have a look at the bike that I'm taking. I'll tell you why I'm taking it and out of the 4 bikes I have, and we'll go from there. Now, I'm going to queue up our first of many, many B-roll montages, I suspect. That'll crank up. By the time that's finished, we'll be outside, ready to go and look at the bike. So let's go. 4 choices. I don't know. Terrible. 11.6. No, that sucks. Eat it on a big jump, things like that. So no, that was going well. It was going well. Almost there. Okay, so obviously it would have been better to come out and do this on a day when it wasn't howling its ass off, but unfortunately I don't have a choice, so here I am. Hopefully I found a nice little corner that's a bit ducked out of the wind and you guys can hear me okay. Now when it came to the trip, I can only take one bike with me, and I've got the first world issue of having 4 to choose from. I've got a Pivot 429 Trail, a Pivot Max 6 Carbon, a Pivot Phoenix downhill bike, and this, my 2018 Evil Reckoning. So I've obviously decided to take the Reckoning, but I want to tell you guys why that is. Now, on the trip, I'm going to be doing 2 types of riding. Firstly, and most importantly to me, bike parks, which means high speed, technical descents, jumps and drops. For that type of riding, you generally want a bike with a bit more suspension travel. The other type of riding I'm doing though, is trail type riding, which means longer distances, more pedaling, uphill and downhill. And for that type of riding, for the most part, you can get away with a bit less suspension travel. So I need a bike that's going to fit in the middle of those 2 categories. I can't have one end or the other. Now let's take a look at the bikes I've got and work out why this is the best choice. The 429 Trail. It's a fantastic bike. Very fast, 29-inch wheels, nice and lightweight, would be good for a trip like this. But as the name suggests, it is a trail bike, which means with only 116 mils of suspension travel on the back, that is just not enough insurance when I cock it up in the bike parks. So the trail's going to stay behind. What about the other end of the spectrum? The downhill bike. 200 mils of suspension travel is plenty for the bike parks. Dual crown forks, 27.5-inch wheels, it's just a beast. Why not take that? Well, as I said earlier, I've got to pedal the thing, including some uphill. And anyone that's pedalled a downhill bike uphill knows it's just a complete punish. So I'm going to leave that bike behind. But what about the Max 6 Carbon? Why not take that? It's pretty much the perfect enduro bike. 27.5-inch wheels, carbon frame, so it's nice and light. And it's at 160 mils of suspension travel, puts it right in that sweet spot. Why not take that? Well, a while back, I had a shock fail. It actually impacted the frame and cracked it. Now I've had it fixed. It looks amazing. It rides exactly the same. It looks brand new, in fact. You'd never tell. But I just don't have the confidence in it anymore. And that's the last thing you need when you're overseas and taking a bit of a risk doing jumps and drops and things like that, that you're not confident in your gear. Which is why I bought this in late 2017. This is the 2018 model Evil Reckoning. If you don't know the Evil, it's a 29-inch, 160mm travel enduro bike. When I built it, I started off with carbon light bike rims on it, which I really liked. I had them for about a year, but then I broke 3 in 3 months, and so I've gone back to aluminium. The good thing about that is, on a trip like this, if I break one, it's much easier to replace an aluminium rim than it is a carbon. So I think that's going to be a benefit. At the heart of the bike, you'll see the Push 11.6 coil, and I've paired it with a Push ACS3 coil upgrade to the Fox 36s up front. So it's coil front and back. I love the balance of the bike now. It's got coil on the front and back. It feels fantastic, it rides really well, and I cannot tell you how many times the suspension has gotten me out of trouble. It's perfect. From end to end, I've gone with an XT group set, so cassette, derailleur, cranks, shifter and brakes. And on the caliper ends, I've gone with XT 4 pots. Now they look exactly the same as the Saints to me. I can't tell the difference. I've got the Saints on my downhill bike. They look the same, they feel the same, and they stop just as well. The only difference is they say XT on them, so I'm happy. I've paired those with orange matchy Uber bike rotors. Now here's a top tip, folks, very important. If everything matches, you gain 3 kilometers an hour in speed. Known fact. So that's the bike. Finally, I'm taking DMR clipless pedals, DMR V-twins. I ride those for the most part, but I do occasionally go back to flats, and I will take some flats on the trip. So if in the bike park I'm doing some jumps, I'm not feeling too confident, I'll go back to the flats, work my way back up, and then when I'm ready to rock and get confident again, I'll go back to the clip-ins. So there you have it, guys. That's the bike. I really like it. I think it's going to be the perfect bike that I have for this trip. I'm really looking forward to riding it and showing you guys what it can do, and that's about it. So let's go back to the house and we'll wrap it up for the day. Okay guys, so that's the 2018 Evil Reckoning. Hopefully you've now got a bit of an idea of what sort of riding I'm going to be doing on the trip and just sort of the things that make me tick as a mountain biker. So I do apologise for the bike nerdiness. I can assure you it won't be happening again. That's it. We're done with that sort of stuff. Once we get on the trip, there'll be a lot more happening, a lot more interesting things going on. So hopefully from there, we can move on to some more interesting videos. So thanks heaps for taking the time and hope to see you next time. Cheers.